Fumble a bag, now I will not fumble a bag. Fumble a bag, now I will not fumble a bag. Act like you know how this goes.
What's up guys, it's Ren here with another video, and today I have the Samsung S23 in the house, and we're gonna be taking you guys through the unboxing process as well as showing you guys the pros and cons when it comes to the S23 compared to the previous generation S22. So make sure you smash that subscribe button and turn on post notification, because I will be doing a comparison video with the Samsung S23 and another newly released smartphone. So the S23 is Samsung's cheapest flagship smartphone that has all the bells and whistles like its bigger brother, the S23 Plus. I picked up the lavender color, but you can also get it in cream, phantom black, and green. And as always, Samsung packaging looks premium, or I could say fancy, which might be a better word for this packaging. The unit that I picked up came in at $799 before taxes, which is pretty much the same price as the S22 when it came out last year. In the box, you'll find the S23 along with some documentation, a SIM removal tool, and a charging cable. No charging brick included. Thanks to Apple for starting that trend, by the way. So the S23 is a good looking phone, pretty similar to the S22. The back of the phone is made of recycled glass and an armored aluminum frame, which is always Samsung's fancy way of saying it's durable. It's IP68 water resistant, but according to Samsung, it's not supposed to be used at the pool or beach, which in my opinion defeats the purpose of saying that it's water resistance up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. I would say the S23 feels good in the hand, similar to the S22. However, the S23 feels better because of its squared off edges and thinner design, as you can see here. But the most noticeable change is in the camera assembly. The cameras are slightly bigger and there's no camera bump like the Galaxy S22, just a triple camera setup. The S23 display feels a little bit flatter on the edges, and the buttons on the side are positioned slightly higher than the S22. Subtle changes to the physical appearance of the phone. Nothing that you would notice if you didn't have both phones together. However, if you're switching from the S22 to the S23, you will definitely have to get new cases, because your S22 cases won't work on the S23. This is due to the new placement of the home and volume rocker button on the S23. So the S22 is a great phone, so I was expecting that the S23 would be even better. Well, with the exception of the battery life, because that was one thing that I did not like on the Samsung S22, but we'll get to that later. So the S23 has the same display panel as the previous generation S22. The S23 has a 6.1 dynamic AMOLED 2X Infinity O 1080p flat screen and a 120Hz adaptive refresh rate. And with the adaptive refresh rate, it adjusts between 48 and 120 Hz based on the content that you're watching. The adaptive refresh rate works as expected while playing games or scrolling the UI. I really think the S23 has a great display. I think the PPI is perfect for the size phone. The S23 display easily outshines other flagship phones with higher resolution displays. It also has great colors and contrast for such a small display. It has a peak brightness of 1750 nits and a 1200 nits brightness for HDR content. And as you can see, the 1750 nits peak brightness of the S23 exceeds that of the S22. The brightness is very useful when you're trying to use the S23 outdoors in direct sunlight. Samsung also kept the in-display ultrasonic fingerprint reader, which I think is one of the best on the market. Powering the Samsung Galaxy S23 is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 mobile platform for Galaxy, which Samsung claimed was designed specifically for their S-series phones. The S23 comes with 8GB of RAM and 128 or 256GB of storage based on the model that you choose. And this memory and storage configuration, along with the Gen 2 Snapdragon chipset, makes the S23 user experience seamless. I can definitely say that the S23 feels a lot more responsive compared to the S22, and I think that's all due to the new chipset. Now let's talk about the main selling feature of most smartphones these days, the camera. So Samsung kept the same camera setup as the previous generation S22, which is their "if it ain't broke, don't fix it" approach, which I think was very smart on their part, at least for the base S23. So the S23 has a 50 megapixel wide camera at f1.8, a 10 megapixel telephoto camera at f2.4, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide at f2.2. The cameras were able to capture sharp photos with great details, which is not something unusual for Samsung flagship phones. But where Samsung did make some addition was in the video mode. Previously on the Galaxy S22, you only get 4K 60 frames a second, but now you're able to capture 8K 30 frames a second video on your Samsung S23. With this new addition, you're able to crop in without losing quality in your videos. Personally, I think that's a win, as long as you're able to store and transfer such high resolution footage, because we all know that 256 gigabyte is not a lot of storage when it comes to video storage. Now let's address the elephant in the room: battery life. Compared to the S22, the S23 has a 3900 mAh battery, which is supposed to provide up to 22 hours of video playback, which in my opinion is still not good enough for a device with this much features. Samsung should have at least shipped the S23 with a 4300 mAh battery, which I'm almost certain would be able to get you through a full day. But I guess we have to wait another year for Samsung to upgrade the size of the battery again. Another thing is that Samsung stated that you're able to fast charge the S23 with a 25-watt charging brick, which they did not include in the box. I mean, 25 watts? That's really not considered fast charging by today's standards. Maybe something along the lines of 40 or 60 watts would have sufficed. But maybe they're trying to preserve the life of the battery by not charging and discharging it too fast. And I'm not trying to roast Samsung, but I'm sure a lot of people won't be happy with the battery life and the charging setup. All in all, I think if you already have the Samsung S22, there's no need to upgrade to the S23 because the changes are pretty subtle. But if you're coming from an older phone, it's a pretty good upgrade, one that you won't regret. It's nice to have 8K recording, but it's not a necessity. 4K is enough for right now. And if you really want 8K video, you shouldn't be looking at this phone anyway. You should be looking at the bigger brother, the S23 Ultra, which I may end up reviewing. So remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I post that video. And if you're interested in any of the phones that I talked about, I will be linking them in the description below. So guys, that is my unboxing and review of the Samsung Galaxy S23. Leave a thumbs up if you liked it. Thanks for watching and catch you guys in the next one. Peace.